Hello everyone, it's Susan. Just a quick jump into Facebook. I haven't had a chance to sit down and write about my experience on the weekend at the workshops that were hosted by Curious Creatures here in Brisbane. Just to give you a bit of a background if you're not familiar with my previous posts about it. So Curious Creatures are based in Melbourne. They're a fabulous organisation that help people develop through their sexuality. All right, so you can go to their website, curiouscreatures.biz. In one of my earlier posts here on Facebook, you'll see, or you can watch an interview that I had with Roger. He's one of the co-founders and facilitators, and where I ask questions about what am I going to expect. I have never been to a sexuality workshop before. Even though I really like sex, I still had not pushed myself out of my comfort zone to go to a Kink 101, and I went to fun little sex games. So they did have a Friday night workshop called The Forest, and that was about touch and communication and consent. And there were a few people from that workshop there on Saturday at the fun little sex games, and I tell you, I wish I'd gone to the Friday night session as well. I really missed out on that one, but I'm sure they'll be back, or I'll head down to Melbourne for a good weekend. So basically, I'll just make sure this is on. Oh yes, I can see it's ticking. So basically, my partner and I went along to the Saturday night session. There were many other couples there. There were also quite a few singles, both women and men. I had asked Rog what to expect. You know, I didn't know what type of people would be there, and I hate using the word normal, but the whole experience of both sessions just completely nothing outrageous. It was warm, spirited. It was energetic. I'd have to say it was loving, and I'll get to that in a minute. The Saturday night games, my partner and I, we were just in our own little bubble. We've recently gone through a bit of a patch where mental health, through issues at work, has caused my partner some difficulty. So we've been feeling a little bit disconnected from each other. The communication strategies that we learned at the fun little sex games, that's found the glue that's put us back together. So we've been together for nearly 5 years, and our sex life is pretty good. Won't go into too much detail for reasons of privacy, but yeah, it's pretty good. We don't have sex every week. I'm menopausal now, and my libido has gone out the door. But we've got into the habit of just assuming that we know what the other person wants. We assume that they're enjoying what we're doing. And we learned a technique from the facilitators to the traffic light system, using green is good, orange is make a change, don't like it, and red is stop. But we've combined that with the question, how can I make this touch more perfect for you? Now, we've never asked each other that during sex, or, you know, whenever we're making out or massaging or having playtime. We've never actually stopped and asked the other person, how can I make this touch more perfect for you? It's given us a whole new framework to work within. I don't have to spend time and energy focusing or trying to listen to his responses. Same goes for Ken as well. He can stop and ask me, how can I make this more perfect for you? So it gives me a clear channel to tell him what I need. So that was absolutely my biggest takeaway from the weekend. So that was a Saturday night, and that was for about a 3.5, 4-hour workshop. The Sunday session was an all-day session, and it was Kink 101. Now, I was nervous about this. I don't know why. I've been to kink parties. I've been an observer. I've participated once where I was flogged with fire. That's a whole new experience. That was great. I absolutely loved that. And I had a few friends in the kink community, but I've never actually invested time to learn kink. Okay, so I think that's a lot to do with time in life. You know, you're working, you have family to look after, and I never made it a priority. Well, I'm going to make it a priority now. I just found a whole new doorway on Sunday. We spent a lot of time learning about the culture of kink, the communication strategies. Again, they revisited the traffic light system. Just excuse me, I need to find my water bottle and I have to dip down. Sorry about this. I'm at home. It is water, not vodka. What was I saying? That's right. Again, the communication and the guidelines and the boundaries that you both clearly consent to before you start playing together. It's the first time I've ever tied rope, but I'm friggin' hopeless at knots. I'll have to practice and I'll have to watch a lot of YouTube. But the exercise that they did in the afternoon, and unfortunately Ken had to leave to go and get his daughter. But in a way, it was lucky for me because I could sit and watch. And they were couples paired up, but also strangers paired up. Some were male, female, but because there wasn't many guys, there was one, two ladies. And the exercise was tying a harness around the other person and then blindfolding them, leading them around the room, and then giving them a sensory experience. Now, there were these two ladies standing in the room and they were waltzing together very, very slowly. You can imagine one's blindfolded and wearing the harness, total trust given to the other person. The sun was shining down on them through the windows and it was just such a serene, beautiful moment, particularly when they stopped dancing and the other lady started to give the other woman very light, very, very light touch from head to toe. And I just felt so privileged that I could sit and watch that. The energy coming from them both was amazing. And when the music finished, the lady who was blindfolded, she just stood there in this state, and then she opened her eyes, and the first thing she did was just reach out and hug the other woman. And then she had to sit down because luckily for her, she got into that stoned state. So I don't know if you've ever experienced being stoned from your endorphins. It's amazing. It's you become a bit of a space cadet. So she had to sit down for that one because it was close to the end of the day, and obviously you can't drive if you're feeling in that state. So it was a lovely, gentle introduction to kink. I'm really impressed with Rog and Tess from Curious Creatures. They were an absolute delight to work with. Very open, very considerate, and very, very caring of everyone's experience in that workshop. So my advice, if you're going to explore kink or communication in that sexual setting, do some reviews of the groups. That there is a group here in Brisbane through Meetup. You'll find, I think they're called Celebrating Eros. Curious Creatures is in Victoria, and they do extend out to workshops in Sydney and Brisbane, but I don't know how frequently. I'm not sure what's available in other states, but I'm going to do some digging. But importantly, just do some research, get some feedback from other people that you might know, and go from there. And just do it. I'm so glad I've done it. I feel like I've cracked another level of my virginity. Does that make sense?